Hello and welcome to this introductory series to Blueprints. So Blueprints is a somewhat of a new feature inside Unreal Engine 4. It is a replacement of Kismet. Now there are some additions to Blueprints and some major upgrades as opposed to Kismet. So with Blueprints themselves, we have two different types of blueprints. We have a level blueprint, and this is very much akin to the Unreal Kismet in that it is only local to the level and can only be used within that level. However, we have a new type of blueprint, or I should say, a new feature within this system called a class blueprint. Now, a class blueprint is actually created as an asset and can be used multiple times over our levels or even projects. So if we look up here, we see we have blueprint, and we have this little drop down here. Oops, sorry, blueprint here, and we see we have open level blueprints, and this is, as I said, very much akin to Unreal Kismet, and we have new class blueprint. So we're just going to look at the interface in this video, and then in the next video we'll build our first level blueprint, and then we'll move on to building our first class blueprint. So if we click open level blueprint, you may get this that floats around like this. I like to click and drag this tab along the top here so I can quickly go between the two. So the level blueprint is very similar to the materials. So if you see my videos on the materials, then some of this should be pretty recognizable. So we have our menu bar along the top here, and much like the materials videos, most of these are not really going to be used. You're going to be using mostly the features around the actual interface itself. However, if we do need to go up here and deal with some of these options, I will most certainly go back to them and explain why. Below that, we have these four options. We have the compile option, which will compile the actual visual script itself. We have the ability to search and look for blueprints. The edit blueprint options. Okay, so we can search for things and deal with the options, and then we also have the ability to play the blueprint. Now, if we click this little drop down, you can also do things such as simulate the blueprint and so on and so forth. And as we get into just sort of playing and then simulating and compiling, we'll look at those features then. Directly below that, we have the ability to add things such as variables, functions, and macros. Okay, so we also have this little dropout, and as you can see, we got graph and event dispatcher. Below that, we have this list. Now you see we only have event graph here. Now, when we add variables and functions and so on and so forth, they will be listed here. And then below that, we have the details that will be related directly to whatever is selected within this list over here. So after that, we have the actual graph itself. It's very similar to the materials. We move around in the same way. We can right click to pan, and we can use the scroll wheel to move around, to zoom in and out. Now you see, obviously it has this very handy tip, right click to create new nodes, and if we right click and we just bring in some random node, I don't know what we're going to bring in, you see we're going to get just a node here. So in this case, we have this event begin play, which is just a node that's going to say when the level begins, we can do something. And again, we have these pins that drop out. Now there is this feature right here, so if we drag this out, we have this option that says context sensitive. So what that means is that when this is checked, it will give us a list of all the possibilities that we can extend out of this to. Okay, now if we uncheck this, you see this list is going to get much bigger, so it's no longer context sensitive. So I tend to keep this on, and it makes it much easier to go down and look through some of the things that's possible when we want to branch out from these nodes here. Okay, so that's essentially the very basics of the interface here. Obviously, we have this level blueprint here that indicates that it's a level blueprint as opposed to a class blueprint. But yeah, that's essentially it for the interface. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video where we will build our very first level blueprints.